First of all, thanks for having me. Oh, it says hello. Hello. So I'm Harper. Please follow me on Twitter. That's the only reason I speak publicly, is to get more followers. It sort of works. It's kind of a lot of effort. But I'm really happy to be here. One of the best things about having at Harper is I get a lot of your leaders' tweets. Most of them are not positive. But I'm a positive guy, so let's move on. Today I want to talk about a couple things. So the first thing I want to talk about is magic. We'll talk a little bit about more what that means. But before magic, I want to talk about myself, my favorite topic. So how many of you guys know who this is? I think this is not the first picture of these people we saw today. Okay, good. I feel like there should be more hands. Okay, good. Now all of a sudden, now everyone knows who this is. Good. So this is my first computer. This is an Apple IIc. I love this computer. It took me a really long time to figure out you could save the programs you wrote, which was my brother and I did a lot of repetitive tasks. Has anyone read this book? Great book, really good book. So I read this book when I was a younger person, and I kind of realized, all these things that they talked about I was really excited about. And I kind of realized that after a certain amount of time that I'm a hacker. This was a really exciting thing to realize as a 13-year-old, especially when you're not talking about this criminal hacker that the media likes to talk about. So I went on and I got, a degree and all that stuff, and I'm a coder. And that's kind of my background. And time passed, and has anyone heard of this company? Okay, good. That was like a woo from 2007, right? So Threadless is really awesome. And who hasn't heard of this company, Threadless? Okay, a bunch in the middle, that's good. So we invented crowdsourcing, apparently. I didn't know this, we didn't know this, nobody knew what crowdsourcing was, but we went to MIT, and MIT was like, here's Threadless, they invented crowdsourcing, and we were kind of like, crowd what? What are you talking about? All we do is make shirts. All we did is take something like this and turn it into that. Very simple, but we did it with you guys through the crowd. And so what we do is 4 simple steps, very simple steps, right? We'd get great designs from you guys, you'd upload them. You'd submit them, then you'd vote on them, and then cash money would fall from the ceiling for everyone. This is a great business. The best part is that we actually didn't do any of the work. $100,000, I'm just going to shout that, $100,000. 100,000 designs were uploaded, millions and millions of votes, millions of t-shirts were sold, and I keep getting in trouble for talking about revenue, so I'll just use this illustration. Now, the best part, like I said, we did none of the hard work. This was awesome. You guys did the hard work. That was the best part about crowdsourcing. Around 2009, I kind of woke up one day and realized that I'd accomplished all my goals. So I quit. Are you guys ready to quit today? Who's ready to quit today? Okay. There's not enough hands to all do a mass quitting. I went on a vision quest. You guys know what a vision quest is, right? Okay, shrooms. So actually, I kind of screwed up my punchline here, because what I usually say is, like, everyone's like, I know what a vision quest is, or no, I don't. And then I'm like, well, vision quest is when you go into the desert and you do a bunch of drugs. I joined a VC firm. And so it's kind of similar, right? So what I did is I wanted to learn more about startups, how they worked, what they did, all the fun stuff about startups. And it was really awesome. It was kind of fun. But out of nowhere, these people called me. You guys know who Barack Obama is? Yes? Okay. More people had read that, knew what an Apple IIc was than Barack Obama, apparently. So this guy right here is Michael Slaby. Michael Slaby was a CTO for the Barack Obama campaign in 2008. Michael Slaby's an awesome guy. Michael Slaby looks like a political operative, right? See? This is the CTO for 2012. This is me. This is my favorite transition. So my joke here is that in 2016, the Republicans or the Democrats are going to try and find a homeless person. We'll see how that goes. So anyway, I missed my favorite slide. YOLO. So the thing is this is an actual campaign asset, as was that picture. These are both official campaign. That's my official campaign photo. And I'm pretty sure, I wonder if the comms people were just like, what? Anyway, so why me? It's funny because every time I talk to someone, even now, I'm like, oh, I was a CTO for the Obama campaign. And they're just like, why you? I'm kind of like, well, thanks, Mom. But here's the thing. When you look at this, you have to look at 2008 versus 2012. In 2008, the Obama campaign was a startup. They didn't know if they were going to last for 3 weeks, let alone 3 months. They had no idea if they were going to win or lose on every single poll, every single day, every single thing they did. And so they needed to be scrappy. And when Michael Slaby up there, he's not a tech person, but he was the best tech person in the campaign in 2008. In 2012, however, we were the Microsoft of campaigns. We were like the Death Star of campaigns. We needed to build big enterprise systems, and we needed a team to do that. And so I was describing this to my wife, who is Japanese, and she said this, which I don't know what that means. Mochi wa mochiya, which, once again, I don't really know what that is because I don't speak Japanese. But what it means is, for rice cakes, you go to the rice cakes dealer. And you guys are all like, what are you talking about? What I'm talking about is very simple. We needed to hire engineers that knew what they were doing, and so we couldn't just go and find a political person and turn them into an engineer. For the first time in campaigns and political campaigns in the US, we had to go find engineers to do engineering. This was a big innovation. You would be surprised. So this was really awesome, and we had about 40 engineers on the back-end team that was kind of under my purview. We bought them from all these great companies. This is my favorite company. Had about 120 tech staff total. They were awesome staff. The thing about this is about 10 times the amount of tech staff we had in 2008. We started from 0, had about 18 months, and we had to focus on only one thing, and that is execution. This is an actual cake from the campaign. My lead DevOps guy, Scott Vandenplas, made this cake, brought it to us about a week and a half before the election, sets it on the table, and is like, I brought cake. And everyone was like, well, at that point, we're superstitious. We can't eat the cake, because what if we fuck it up? We ate the don't fuck it up cake, and then we're in trouble. So they just left it there until we won, and then they ate it, which seems super sketchy. So what did we do? We built a platform. This platform was called Narwhal. Did anyone hear of Narwhal? It's like 4 years ago now, so it doesn't matter if you didn't. This is Jim Messina dressed as a narwhal. Here's him as Harry Potter. We like to have a lot of fun. These are all from meetings that I've had. This is my favorite one. But this was his favorite one. He felt more like a dragon. So anyway, Narwhal was this concept. And for those kind of tech folks here, all it was a big API. But it allowed us to have this foundation and this freedom to focus on the products. And this is one of the most important things that we did, is we just built this giant platform, and then we could build all these products on it independently, and then they could talk to one another. Another innovation that is exciting. Election day was pretty chilled out. You know, we couldn't do any changes. We just kind of had to relax. This was a Post-it note that was on a table. I learned the definition of frenetic then. So election day was pretty chilled out, you know, and luckily we won. You're welcome. I think Romney was going to invade Canada. That's what I heard. So it's a good thing that we won. But, you know, what I want to talk about today was not any of the campaign stuff. I want to talk more about, like, the magic of technology, right? And everyone knows this quote, right? Any sufficient advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. A lot of the stuff we did on the campaign was amazing. We would send people emails from their best friend, or that had their best friend in it, and then they would call their best friend to get their best friend to vote. Like, very exciting things, and people would be like, well, how'd you know my best friend? We're like, well, Facebook. But the thing is everyone was super excited about it. And the narrative from the media out of that was that it was all magic. But I'm not a magician. In fact, I have no idea what magicians do. They're weird people. But this is what I believe. Any sufficient advanced technology is built by people, right? I am a people. I know people. So let's talk about people. And I want to tell you, in the 9 minutes remaining, how I build teams. Are you ready? Okay, so the first one, you got to be ready to fire people. This is it, right? Everyone here is like, firing people sucks. But you can't be afraid to do it. And here's my story about that. So at Threadless, we had a guy that just didn't work out. We fired him. At the Obama campaign, I hired him because he was awesome. It doesn't mean you're killing them. It just means that they didn't work at that moment in time. So you have to be able to do that because you have to move on to that next time you can use them. It's really important to be able to prune your teams because a bad team member will destroy everything. You guys know this? Have you seen this movie? I have never seen this movie. But apparently, Always Be Closing is a part of this movie. But I don't really like that as much. I think it should be always be creative. One of the things that when I talk to startups, and I'm sure this will happen today, and I'll say, hey, startup, what do you need? And they're like, we really need a Rails person. I'll be like, cool. What will that Rails person be doing? And they'll be doing Rails programming. And I'm just like, okay, I am unable to help you. But if you're like, you know, we need someone that wants to come and save the world. We're building this great thing. Oh my God, this stuff. And then I'll say, oh, then I can go to my friend and say, hey, they're looking for stuff and they're going to commit, you know, whatever. But when on the campaign, we tried at first to be like, hey, we need to hire this programmer, and it didn't work. And then I said, hey, how would you like to save the world? And that worked. So be creative. Remember, your pitch is important. Don't forget about the features of it, those little like Rails dev and all that important stuff. But that's not really important when you're trying to find someone to share all of your life with. Here's another one. A's hire A's and B's hire C's. You guys have heard this before? Okay, who's all an A? Okay, now you guys screwed that up. One thing that's really funny about this stuff is all these last couple things are from Rumsfeld's rules, which is really awkward for me. But the thing about most of this is just hire people who are smarter than you. Like, that's the thing about A's hire A's and B's hire C's. The goal here is to hire and build a team that is better and smarter than anything that you could do or ever accomplish. You want that person that's going to just be awesome, I guess. But the reason I do this is very simple. I don't want to do any work. They are better at it. They'll do the work and do it better than I would do it, and I'll just screw it up anyway. So trust. Trust is really important for a team. I don't really have anything to say about it other than you should make sure you can figure out trust in your teams. I'd love to be able to have some stupid joke or something to say here, but I think it's too important. Measure everything. We measure just a crap ton of all the stuff. That's technical words. And we used Graphite. Are you guys familiar with Graphite? It's an awesome tool that allows you to basically measure every aspect of your code and of the programs and whatever you're doing. And that allowed us really to quantify and react to success. So then we'd have kind of a little party every time something worked. That was a lot of parties, and it was really awesome. But it really allowed people to understand what success was, which is a huge part of a good team. Because if no one understands what success is, they have no reason to work. Credit is really important. That goes along with success. If you're able to kind of say, hey, you know, Harper did a good job, then everyone's going to try and either figure out how to emulate Harper, which I hope you all do, or more importantly, they're going to want to work with and on that team. Authenticity. So this is my buddy Charlie. Charlie was this guy that we had on our team at Threadless, and he was the first person to complain. You all work with one of those people, right? Where something he's just like the first person who's like, guys, this totally blows. And we're always just like, come on, Charlie, like stop being annoying. Turns out that he was just the total authentic Threadless user. And so having him on our team, we were able to have this insight into what Threadless users would react to, whether it was good or bad. And so we'd build something, and Charlie would be like, this sucks. We'd launch it, and the whole Threadless community would be like, that sucked. And then we'd just be like, damn it, we should have listened to Charlie. After about 4 years, we finally listened to Charlie, and everything was better. But what I learned from this is, how do you get that authentic person, that authentic, maybe we heard it earlier, if you don't care about what you're building, it doesn't work, right? That's something we heard earlier. I think that's a lot of this. How do you make sure your team is authentic to what you are building? And sometimes those of us who are building enterprise software, that's hard, right? But I guess you just don't build enterprise software. Purpose. Purpose is another one that's really important. This is the president signing healthcare. You guys wouldn't understand how important that was, but it was really important for us down in the United States of America. One of the exciting things about the team is every day you would wake up and you'd be like, I am doing something important. And it goes back to that pitch, like that always be creative. How do you instill this in your team so they're excited about going to work every day? Diversity. I actually think diversity is probably one of the most important things that you can do with a team. And the way I like to describe it is, you know, don't be afraid to hire people that look different from you. For me, this is pretty easy. Well, actually, that's the fucked up part, right? Because it's not. I can hire a red-bearded dude easier than I can hire a woman in tech. That's fucked up. So here's how we solve this problem. The first thing you do is you try. Okay, now everyone laughs, right? But none of y'all are trying. Well, some of you probably are, but I'm guessing that there are people in the audience who are just hiring, and they're not thinking, how is this person going to help the team be more diverse? Because a diverse team brings innovation. And so this is a really important thing. We're building products for the internet, right? When some young kid from Morocco can comment on the same blog that my brother wrote, that my mom commented on, you kind of need people who are diverse. to build that product. You can't just, it can't just be white dudes with red beards. Literally, gingers are going extinct. And it's easier for me to hire a ginger dude than it is like a person of color in tech. We need to solve this problem. The next thing is you have to talk about it. And the important thing here is we have to talk as a community about our failures, not just the success. Because it's easy to say, yes, I have a very diverse team. Great. Good for you. What happens when you don't get it? What happens when you try and it doesn't work? What happens when it's hard to hire those people in your community? What happens when you have a monoculture and you're trying to break it? If we don't talk about that, we'll never figure out how to get out of it. I have a startup now. We spent a lot of time thinking about this and doing this, and we're doing a decent job, but it's because it was deliberate. It's because we tried, and then because we talked to a lot of people who didn't do a good job or who did do a good job. The people who I'm excited about right now when talking about this stuff is what Etsy's doing. Really great stuff there. It's pretty exciting. It will not get easier if we ignore it, and so I challenge all of you guys to really stand up and try and make a difference here. But the most important thing above all of that, and it always pains me to put diversity second, is we got to ship products, yo. So how many people in this room, and be proud, have a product that they haven't shipped? Okay. It sucks, doesn't it, right? So this is the thing. Now who are the users of that product besides the fictional ghost users? Right? So we got to get that product out. So this is what I want. I want someone to ship that product today. Who's going to do it? You'll ship a product today? He's going to try. Who else? Come on. Okay, we got 2. Boring. We really need to ship these products because I tell you what, if you don't have a shipped product, your team is bored. I always like to talk to my team about there's no good plan, survive contact with the enemy or whatever. If you Google that quote, I guarantee you will be surprised by who originally said it. It's some crazy dude. Anyway, it's true though, because once you ship that product, you're gonna be like, whoa, we aren't doing what I thought we were doing. And then your team's gonna be super stoked because they gotta fight. So let's put them in a position to fight. So that's about it, guys. Oh, look, I have more slides. Building a team is hard, obviously, but you have to enable them to be magicians. So let's do it. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate that.